Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, days, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your boy. This is your boy Hunter. Happy what day is it? Wednesday. That's it. Yeah, happy Wednesday night, everyone. I hope you're having a good week. Hope you're staying safe out there. It is WrestleMania week. If you are not a pro wrestling fan, WrestleMania is the biggest wrestling event each year, put on course by World Wrestling Entertainment. This year, it emanates from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where there's several shows going on this weekend, including a NXT takeover, which I'm excited for, as well as a Ring of Honor. A Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show. What's up afternoon tune? I don't know what I'm going to be on the afternoon tune next. Who knows at this point? It feels like I just stopped by. Give me a sec, goddamn. So all right. I'm going to talk about AEW here mostly, but I want to talk about a few things because I've got a little time to spare before I start feeling actually tired. So just to get it out there, streaming has been a bit erratic because of this new job I started, and training was pretty difficult. And unfortunately, I got let go this past couple days ago. So I am once again looking for a job. So if you are a company that needs someone who will do streams every day or do reviews every day, holla at your boy, because I would love to get paid to do this shit. But for now, taking the week to be sad and bummed about it, but get back to it. Job apps, this upcoming week. It's not ideal, but I'm gonna be all right. It sucks. So with that unpleasantness out of the way, let's talk about I know I said I was going to talk about AEW, but I do want to talk about WrestleMania. So the WrestleMania card as it currently stands right now. So let me see. So Saturday nights, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just give predictions right now. Why the fuck not? So, the card as follows. For night one, because it's a 2-night event. It's like the third year in a row they've made it 2 nights. So night one on Saturday is going to be Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Fucking love Dragon Lee. Versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. That should be fun. Dirty Dom Mysterio, one of the best heels in all of wrestling right now. We got Bianca Belair, Naomi, and a Jade Cargill versus Damage Control, which is Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. We've got a 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. So we've got the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus Awesome Truth, The Miz and R-Truth versus DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus New Catch Republic. I really do hate that fucking name. Why not just call him Mustache Mountain? Come on, like that was better. British Strong Style. Pardon me. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate versus A-Town Down Under, which is Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. We've got Jay Uso versus Jimmy Uso. We've got the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Gunther versus Sami Zayn. The Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, mommy, versus Becky Lynch. And then to close out night one, we'll have The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. So, okay. I'm going to go through my predictions real quick for night one. Rey Mysterio beat Dominic Mysterio last year at Mania. I don't think he should have. I really think that Rey should have lost that match. He didn't. Still a little peeved about that. I think they rectify that this year. I think we get Dominic Mysterio pinning his dad on the big stage. I think Dominic and Santos win that one. Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, they're going to beat Damage Control. I don't want them to beat Damage Control, honestly, because I really fuck with Damage Control a lot. I love Asuka. I've loved Asuka for years. I think Kairi Sane, she has the most brilliant elbow drop in the industry right now. Kairi Sane's fucking incredible. And Dakota Kai, I'm so happy that after the multiple injuries she's gone through, she's finally getting her WrestleMania moment. She fucking deserves it. But they have Jade Cargill debuting, who jumped over from AEW about a year ago. She just signed in storyline. She signed to SmackDown. And I will say, because I'm not a fucking asshole, when I saw Jade Cargill was leaving AEW for WWE, honestly, I was happy for her, because WWE, if you want, like, and it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but I think y'all know what I mean. She's not purely just a wrestler. She has interests outside of WWE. She wants to go ahead and be kind of what Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, has been. She wants to have a life outside of the industry. She wants to get into entertainment and stuff like that, and really build her brand. And if you want to do that, WWE is the place to do it. So I don't blame her for jumping over WWE. I'm happy for her. Her entrance, her debut entrance on this past week's SmackDown on Friday, she looked like a fucking superhero. It's fucking wild. Like, they did a great job with the presentation, and for the most part, it's really similar to her AEW entrance. Like, they're definitely using more like darkness and stuff like that, but it's very similar to her AEW entrance. She always felt like a superhero when she came out in AEW, and she feels like that even more so in WWE. So they're doing a great job presenting her. She'll get the pin at Mania. She'll get the pin this Sunday. I have no idea who she'll pin, but she'll pin someone from Damage Control. But yeah, she's going to go ahead. They'll win that match. As far as the 6-pack ladder match, I mean, New Day is always a threat to win just because it's the New Day. I love DIY. Like, I love Gargano and Ciampa. They had one of the best feuds in the history of NXT. I fucking love DIY. But the story they've been telling with R-Truth kind of being a part of the Judgment Day and them turning on him, and him and The Miz kind of hooking back up to go ahead and try to take them down. That's the story right there. So I feel like we're heading towards, I don't know if it's a Judgment Day split necessarily, but I think their reign as far as being tag champs is about to come to an end. So I think that the Awesome Truth will go ahead and win the tag straps. Jay Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Brother matches at Mania. I mean, you get Brett versus Owen at WrestleMania 10, which is still one of the best Mania matches of all time, one of the best openers of all time. I would have that open night one personally, and it should be Jey Uso. Jey Uso should get the win. Main event Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso just cost him the Intercontinental Championship against Gunther. It should be Jey Uso. Jey Uso should win it. That's my pick there. Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Sami Zayn. It should be Gunther. Gunther's over a year as the Intercontinental Champion. He's officially the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I fucking love Gunther. He feels like a final boss, unlike The Rock. He actually feels intimidating and imposing and everything you want from a champion. I love Sami Zayn. I've been a fan of Sami Zayn ever since he was El Generico in Ring of Honor. I fucking love Sami Zayn. This is not his time. It should have been Chad Gable. Afternoon Tune, motherfucker, will you give me a second? I will get there. Goddamn. I'm going up the card. But it shouldn't be Sami Zayn's night. Chad Gable really should have beaten Sami Zayn a couple weeks ago on Raw. for that number one contendership for the Intercontinental title. It bothers me he didn't, and I think WWE this is something WWE does, and I think that I think it's almost like they get in their own way for the sake of getting in their own way. It's very frustrating, but I think Gunther's going to go ahead and retain because they have a pay-per-view coming up in Berlin, I believe. I don't see a world where Gunther doesn't go into that show as a champion, so he'll beat Sami Zayn here. So yeah. Going on to Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. So okay, there is no reason. Let me say this. So Becky Lynch has not re-signed, apparently. Apparently she has like less than 2 months left on her current deal, which, let me just say this. If I'm WWE, if I'm TKO, how you don't re-sign one of your biggest female stars, fuck that, one of your biggest stars, period. How you don't re-sign them last summer, I don't get it. I don't know how you let a contract get this close to one of your biggest stars, especially a woman who has a best-selling book out right now. I actually have her book saved on my Audible once I finish my John Moxley book. That's the next book I'll move on to, is Becky Lynch book. I don't understand how she's not re-signed. I think that's actually really disrespectful to her. And to be quite frank, I don't think she's winning. There's no reason to beat Rhea Ripley at this point. I think Rhea Ripley's reign has been, I don't want to say underwhelming. I think they could be doing more with her as far as a champion. She had a great match with Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. What was that, like 6 weeks ago? But Rhea, like Becky, should not be being Rhea. This should be used to really establish Rhea as that dominant woman on the brand by having her beat one of the best female wrestlers in the last 20 years. She should beat Becky Lynch. And if they have Becky beat her, it's a giant fucking mistake. So I really hope they don't do that. So I would, don't do that. So, but I'm going to say Rhea Ripley. And then the main event for night one, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Okay. So let me let me get this out of the way. My big thing with WWE, and it's always been a complaint of mine, especially for the last like decade, their over-reliance on part-time wrestlers. I understand they're making money hand over fist. I get it. I know that's what always comes down to. It always comes down to money. It's never the quality of the product. But I understand that there are fans who will just go, well, The Rock is the biggest star in Hollywood. And I'm like, is he? Is he though? Because look, let's call it what it is. The only reason The Rock is back in WWE right now is because TKO said that if you're a board member, we'll give you the rights to all your catchphrases and the term The Rock. So Dwayne Johnson owns all that now. And two, because his attempted coup to take over DC Comics, which is what he was trying to do. There are multiple articles laying it out. He was trying to become the head of DC, basically, with Black Adam. And that shit didn't work. That's the only reason why he's back. That's the reason why he crawled back to the Fast and Furious franchise, because he put all his eggs, or whatever the Samoan equivalent is, he put all that shit into Black Adam, and Black Adam didn't work out. So then it's like, well, let's go crawling back to the Fast and Furious franchise. Let's go back to WWE, and let's call it what it is. The Rock is what, 50, 51, I think. He's 51. Soon to be 52. He's going to be 52 in less than a month. Yeah, there you go, Afternoon. Put all his coconuts in that basket. The man's going to be 52 in less than a month. I'm sorry, he hasn't wrestled a one-on-one match that's lasted longer than 5 seconds in about 12 years. And that was against John Cena at WrestleMania 28. And the last time that happened, he tore his pec and all this shit. He got hurt very badly in that match, and that match suffered because of it. So I understand that he's in great shape, and I know, again, that's what people point to, like he's in great shape, he's ripped and all that. And yeah, he absolutely is. But ring shape is different than being in shape. And I'm not confident at all that he could go ahead and carry a one-on-one match. So when I see people going like, oh my God, we got robbed of Roman Reigns versus The Rock, that's the last fucking match I wanted to see. So I'm happy that The Rock has embraced a persona that I think is a lot closer to how he actually is than people want to admit. I think The Rock is a total asshole. He comes across like a very entitled douche at points. Like, again, nothing wrong with that, but that's definitely how he comes across to me. And so I'm happy he's leaning into it, honestly, because I think him coming back as a baby face would have been disingenuous. I appreciate the fact that he's leaning into the fact that he has his power, he has his cachet. Now, I would be more into this if this didn't come in the wake of this whole Vince McMahon scandal, which WWE fans, like, let's not forget that's a thing. That I know Vince McMahon isn't there, and everyone at WWE and TKO is basically going la 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 la. Vince isn't here, la 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 la. Just because you do that doesn't mean that the problem's gone away. And we're gonna learn more about Vince McMahon and these NDAs and shit. So yeah, you can do that shit now, and you can throw all the parades that you want because it's WrestleMania season and all that. But WrestleMania season will be over this time next week. And the reality of what Vince McMahon and his cronies did for decades will still be there, and we'll still be waiting to find out shit. So before you all want to call me a hater and all that shit, just keep that in mind. With that said, Roman Reigns has been champion for like oh my God, it's been like 1,000, like almost like 4 years. It feels like, Jesus Christ, it's been so fucking long. By the way, it hasn't even been that long because they've basically like melded his world heavyweight title reign with his WWE championship reign. It's very confusing. I think even WWE has actually technically lost the thread on how long he's been fucking champion, but it needs to end. With that said, though, night one, the big stipulation is if Cody and Rollins win, then it's going to be Cody versus Reigns one-on-one, no outside interference. But if The Rock and Roman Reigns win, then it's bloodline rules, which means anything goes. So The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to win. Let's just get that out of the way. I would guess that we'll even have we'll probably have Cody. I wouldn't say Cody takes the loss. I think you have Rollins take the loss, take the pin. I would actually even say I think The Rock will pin Seth Rollins. I just have a feeling like that's the direction they're going to go. So that'll take us to night 2, which I'll get into in a moment. But I think The Rock and Roman Reigns win that tag match. So going on to Mania Night 2's card, then we get Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, big fan of those three brothers, versus the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, Bebop and Rocksteady. I mean, Akam and Razor. Pardon me. We get that, and then we get LA Knight versus AJ Styles, and then we have the United States Championship on the line as Logan Paul Gag defends against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The WWE Women's Championship will be on the line as Io Sky will take on Bayley. And then the World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as Seth Rollins will take on Drew McIntyre. And the undisputed WWE Universal Championship will be on the line as Roman Reigns takes on Cody Rhodes. Okay, so I'm excited for the street fight. That it's a Philadelphia street fight between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits and the Final Testament. I personally think Bobby Lashley and Street Profits will win the match. I think that's just going to be a big old fucking brawl, and I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for this match. I think that'll be a fun one. But yeah, I think Lashley and the Street Profits get it. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I think that could be a sleeper match. I'm a huge LA Knight fan. I've been a fan of LA Knight since he was Eli Drake back in TNA wrestling, and in NWA. I he should be facing Logan Paul, and I'm going to kind of give this away, but I think Logan Paul's going to retain. I think LA Knight will be the one to beat him for that United States Championship. So I think LA Knight gets the win over AJ Styles, and then I think Logan Paul retains the United States Championship, which I think he should, because I think he should lose it to LA Knight. Moving on to the Women's Championship match, I think it's actually, I know a lot of people would say, oh, it's Cody, and I think the best told story and the best build for a match heading into WrestleMania has been Io Sky versus Bayley. With Bayley being the former, with Bayley forming Damage Control to go ahead and get her to the Women's Championship, and like the way that they've kind of gone at each other on social media, I really like, it's been the best built match, and I think this is the match that will steal the show personally. Bailey is thicker than a Snicker too, boy. Fucking Io is too, though. Like, they're both just gorgeous, but they're doing a hell of a job with the build. I think Bailey's gonna win. She should win, because I think a lot of people forget that her and Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, they really carried WWE through the Thunderdome era, during the pandemic. Bayley was fucking incredible during that time, and she really never got her flowers in front of an audience, which ties into another match that I'll get to in a second. But Bayley should beat Io, and Bayley should become the SmackDown Women's Champion, therefore solidifying her heel turn. Yeah, I'll get to the AEW versus WWE in a second here. Double H 2017. Thanks for joining, by the way. But I think Bayley's gonna win it. I think Bayley's gonna win. Moving on to the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Goddamn. I love Drew McIntyre. I fucking love Drew McIntyre. I've been a fan of his since he came into WWE with the whole Chosen One gimmick. His social media, taking shots at CM Punk and just going after fans, like, it's been gold. He's been doing some of the best shit of his career in this past year. I've loved what McIntyre's been doing. I don't think McIntyre will be signed either. At least we don't have confirmation of it yet. I hope WWE sign that fucker up, because if you let him get away right now, I think that's a giant ass mistake. But he should win. Look, I like Seth Rollins as a wrestler. As a person, he just comes across like a whiny asshole, and the way that he is very toxic about WWE, in the sense of, he's like, we're always out in the gym, tearing our bodies up to make sure we don't look like, like jabronis and gym shorts. And he's talked all this shit about fans. It's like, look, dude, like, none of the fans. Okay, let me rephrase that. A majority of the fans respect how much work y'all put into this, but if you're not putting out entertaining content, it doesn't really fucking matter. And that's been my beef with Rollins, kind of. I don't want to say for the last couple of years, but I think he's gone as far as he can as a face. I think it's time for him to turn back heel. I think heel Rollins is better for everyone, and I think this loss being the catalyst for him to go heel again makes a lot of sense. Plus, McIntyre never got a big championship win in front of a crowd. He beat Brock Lesnar at Mania for the WWE Championship in the Thunderdome era, where there weren't any fans. He deserves a chance to go ahead and show out and have that moment in front of an audience. So, yeah, I believe Drew McIntyre is going to go ahead and beat Seth Rollins and become the new World Heavyweight Champion, and I will be here for it. Let me see here. So, with that said, that takes us to the main event, which is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. If WWE has Roman Reigns retain. They are the dumbest fucking company in the world. I don't care about what records he still has to break. We are 4-ish years into this fucking experiment, and I am done. I am done hearing about Roman Reigns. I am done with the bloodline shit. I am done. DONE. I am fucking done. I am over it. It is time for Cody Rhodes. Like, here's the thing about WWE that's very, and I think if you've been watching the product for a while, you know what I mean. You can only gotcha your audience so many times. Everyone that I talked to last year was like, oh, Cody's going to win and I'm going to be super happy. And then when he lost, for the most part, it was a lot of people like myself going, wow, like what the fuck are you guys doing? And so I will be the first to admit I was wrong in the sense of I thought that Cody losing last year would have killed all of his momentum. I thought the fans would have turned on him and been like, oh, you can't win the big one. Why should we invest in your story? Why should we care? And I'm wrong. I was wrong. But now let me be clear. I don't think WWE was expecting that. I think WWE thought the way a lot of us did. I think WWE was like, oh man, they may not get behind Cody or stay behind him. And they did. And fans got behind him more. And I can't believe it. Cody was able to maintain this momentum over the last year. And again, I don't think that's really on WWE. Like, I'm not giving them a ton of credit for that, because even his matches against Brock Lesnar, I thought were okay. Like, they were good, but they weren't great matches. It's pretty wild that Cody's been able to maintain this momentum for the past year. I got to give him all the credit in the world for that. Yeah, so here's the thing, Double H 2017. If Cody doesn't win, dude, it is like, I think you kill Cody if he doesn't win. And I'll be real too. He did confirm that he just re-signed. It would be madness if they didn't have him win. It would be fucking ridiculous if they didn't have him win. So Cody has to win. Now, for those of you who actually watch WWE regularly, if you caught on this not this past Monday's Raw, but the week before, where The Rock laid the smackdown. Oh, hey Larry, what's up, man? Where The Rock beat the shit out of Cody and left him bloodied. And you see the production truck, and it had Austin and Cena on the truck. That's very clearly done intentionally. And it feels like we're going to get this Avengers in-game. The bloodline has beaten Cody down, and it looks like, he's going to lose and be killed. And then all of a sudden we hear, we hear John Cena's music come out, and then we're going to hear that glass shatter, and we're going to see Stone Cold come out. Like if they pull it off right, that could be an amazing fucking moment. And, maybe we get to see The Rock take a Stone Cold. Like, I'm sure we will. We get to see The Rock get hit with Stone Cold Stunner and do that sell again. And I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for that to go down just brilliantly if they set it up right. So while I'm not as confident in it as I should be, because again, I don't think there's ever been a company that actively hates its audience the way that WWE does. Like, they really just seem to go out of their way to just piss off their audience. I do believe that WWE will do the right thing. I do believe they will put Cody over, and I do believe that Cody will finally finish the story and beat Roman Reigns and end this fucking nightmare that has been going on for too fucking long. I believe it's coming. So I'm gonna I think it's gonna happen. But I'll be real, y'all. I have it like at 70%, 30%. Like 70% of me. Actually, I wouldn't even go that high. I'd go like 60-40. Like, there's this part of me that goes like, they could have Roman Reigns win. They really could, and it would be stupid if they did. But I don't know. We'll see. But Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm excited though. I'm excited for the match, and I will have a full WrestleMania review. I'll probably do that Monday morning. I'm still figuring out. I don't think I'm gonna do it Sunday night, but I'll probably do it Monday morning. Um, but I don't know. There's this part of me that just they could just have Roman win. And I don't want that. I can't stress enough how much I don't want that, but they 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 could do that. They really could. Um Man, I've already been talking for a half hour. So yeah, you know what? I'll talk about AEW real quick. So I did talk about how I was gonna start doing AEW Dynamite reviews. I'm gonna probably start doing them on Thursdays, but since I'm here, I'll talk about it a little bit. So um AEW kind of got dragged through the ringer a little bit by CM Punk because he did this interview this past week and talked about how AEW was fucking like child's play, and the place was a fucking joke, and he thinks that Tony Khan's a joke and all this shit. And look, you're talking to someone who honestly like cried when CM Punk came back to wrestling. I've been a CM Punk fan since his days of Ring of Honor. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Not a fan of his UFC career, but I've been a CM Punk fan for as long as I can remember. And one thing about CM Punk is he's very curmudgeon-y. He's very Squidward-esque in that way. He comes across like just a grouchy asshole more often than not. And I know he's back in WWE. I know he's going to be doing commentary at Mania, which, I mean, he's great at commentary. So I know he's injured still. So, you can't have him wrestle, obviously. But it takes me back to a promo that John Moxley cut a couple years ago on Punk, the former Dean Ambrose, where he said, feeble mind, feeble mind, broken spirit, or a brittle body, feeble mind, something like that. Yeah, and he's kind of right. Like Punk is, how old is CM Punk? CM Punk is CM Punk is 45 years old. So here's the thing about CM Punk. He went through two major injuries in AEW. They put the title on him twice, and he got injured twice. And he got, and I think people forget he got injured before his UFC fight, which is why they had to delay it. I'm not saying Punk is injury prone. I'm just saying that the dude is 45 years old and he's been wrestling for, 15 years, maybe even longer than that. And maybe his body is telling him, like, dude, it's just not, it just may not be in the cards. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Again, I'm never going to sit here and, I'm not an asshole. So I'm not going to sit here and wish injury on him or anything like that, but his body just might be breaking down. And so it's going to be interesting because Punk should probably be back by summerish. So in theory, you could do another summer of Punk. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he is when he comes back. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about if he is his time, if his body just cannot hold up to the rigors of a normal schedule. I don't think it can anymore. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I would be lying if I said that wasn't something that's kind of in the back of my head of, oh man, maybe he just can't do this the way he wants to anymore. And and that would suck. That would suck. I'd feel really bad if he just couldn't do this the way he wants to. But there are people like The Undertaker who hung on too long, and I would rather have Punk go out while he's still got a little juice in the tank than hang on too long because of his ego, and it's just sad. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. We'll see how Punk looks when he gets back. Getting on to AEW Dynamite, Adam Copeland, the former Edge, came out and gave this really great speech talking about how He wrestled in WWE. He grew up watching NWA and really talking about the tribalism in WWE, not in WWE, but just in general for wrestling fans, about how um um like it's really wild to me how AEW's been around for about 5 years. And as a wrestling fan, I watch WWE a little bit. I don't watch like the shows. I'll catch like a clip or two off of like a YouTube account, or maybe on like Twitter or something like that. But I personally don't watch the product anymore. The reason I don't actively watch the product is really because of the Saudi deal. And the way that I saw WWE going out of their way to try to sabotage AEW even months before AEW launch, I just went, this is fucking gross, y'all. Like, you're WWE. Like, you should be focusing on, like, you're the number one wrestling company in the world, whether I like it or not. Just profit wise, they're the number one. Now, in terms of quality, that's a totally separate discussion, but they are the number one wrestling organization on the planet right now. But for them to be so, like, the level of vitriol that they've had towards AEW, I think it's been pretty gross. Now, with that said, I am not absolving Tony Khan, because Tony Khan has taken his fair share of shots at AEW as well, or at a WWE as well. So I'm not acting like WWE is just the bullies here. Like, there's definitely been shots thrown and taken from both sides. But Adam Copeland came out tonight and, flat out said that he loves pro wrestling and that he decided to go ahead and end his career in AEW because he wants to end his career with his best friend, Christian Cage, aka Jay. He wanted to go ahead and wrestle there. I totally get it. And good night, Larry. You have a good night, man. But I'm just gonna say, with that said, I don't know, man. I'm gonna end the stream on this note because dinner time is almost here. But I love wrestling. I just love wrestling. And if you are actively rooting for a place to go out of business, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. Again, my big issue with WWE is like their Saudi deal, which I think is just fucking gross. And the fact that I think that they're just that they are really just trying to sweep this Vince McMahon shit under the rug. I think that's just fucking vile. But they have people like Rhea Ripley, Fish Tacos, by the way, afternoon tune. But they have people like Rhea Ripley. They have people like Kevin Owens. They have people like Dominic Mysterio. They have people like Drew McIntyre. They have people like Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams, two men of color who are going to tear it up at the NXT takeover. They've got Chelsea Green. They've got Io Sky and Asuka and Jade Cargill and goddamn, they've got so many people there that I love, that I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, fuck WWE, I hope they go out of business. It's like, no, I hope that WWE is cleaned out of all the gross people that enabled Vince McMahon and all that shitty behavior. But I would never root for them to go out of business because, again, I'm not a dick. And I understand that not everyone can wrestle in WWE. Not everyone can wrestle in AEW. That's why I'm happy for places like NWA. That's why I'm happy for places like MLW. That's why I'm happy for places like Stardom. That's why I'm happy for places like TNA. That's why I'm happy for places like Noah. So there's so much wrestling that you can watch. You don't just have to watch AEW. You don't have to just watch WWE. I would encourage you to not just watch those places. GCW is fucking awesome if you haven't watched GCW for like deathmatch stuff. There's some amazing wrestling out there. It's not just these two fucking promotions. I would actually encourage you, in the same way that I would never tell someone to just watch Marvel stuff, or the same way I would never tell someone to just watch indie stuff. The more that you expand your palette, the better it is for your consumption and the better, more informed ideas and ideals that you'll have. So there's so much great wrestling out there. I mean, look, I could point to I could go off the top of my head. I could tell you like um hey, if you ever come out to the West Coast, or if I ever come out to the Shy, I will make you fish tacos. But there's so much great wrestling out there. Don't be a dick about it. Like, don't be rooting for AEW. Got business. Apparently, AEW is worth $2 billion. So, oh, you're not in the Shy anymore. Oh, okay. Well, wherever you're at, if I ever get out there, I'll make you tacos. But yeah, apparently AEW is worth like $2 billion. Their deal with Warner Brothers Discovery does end at the end of this year. They're going to get another deal because apparently Warner Brothers is already talking about absorbing AEW's like pay-per-views and stuff potentially. Because if you notice, if you go on HBO Max, you can actually watch like some like the like March Madness stuff live and stuff like that. So I think they're going to end up incorporating that into AEW. If you're like me and you don't have cable, what I would recommend is if you have a VPN, you can go on to Fight TV, or what's called Triller TV now. You can actually sign up for what's called AEW Plus. It's based in the UK, so you have to set your VPN to UK, and you pay $8 a month, and you get to watch all the AEW like shows. So it's like I'm paying $8 a month to watch AEW, which is totally fine. That's well worth my money. So, but yeah, like there's so much great wrestling out there, y'all. Don't limit yourself just to WWE. Don't just limit yourself to AEW. Watch some Impact Wrestling. Watch some NWA. Like I could rattle off several matches in either promotion or in several promotions that I would tell people to watch. But expand your palette. Don't be like, let the tribal shit die. Like, these wrestlers hang out with each other from different promotions. We can, as fans, like criticize what we like and still like what we like, you know. Like I have been as ride or die about Marvel as anyone I know, and I still criticize Marvel and I still criticize Disney. Actually, I'm fucking grateful that Disney has been kind of when it comes to animation, because that's allowed Sony to put out 2 amazing Spider-Verse films. That's allowed DreamWorks to put out 2 excellent Puss in Boots films. That's allowed that's allowed Neon to put out Robot Dreams, which I know most of y'all haven't seen yet, but Robot Dreams I think comes out next month. I cannot express enough to you how much I love that movie. That was my number 2 favorite film last year. Like, competition is better for all of us. So don't be a dick and go, I want them to go out of business, because what happens when you have that shit is that you get shit like when you're trying to fucking fly and you only have like 4 fucking options, which is bad. You want more options, trust me. So yeah, get over the tribalism, people, and just enjoy what you like. But with that said, for the rest of the week, I'm going to be streaming on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. I'm celebrating 10 years of doing the podcast, which is so fucking wild. It's going to be 10 years of doing the Real Pineapple, which I still can't believe it's going to be 10 years. So I'm going to be celebrating by re-reviewing the first big film that we went ahead and uploaded back when it was me, Scott Collin and I. I'm going to be re-reviewing Captain America, The Winter Soldier. I'm so excited to revisit that movie. So that's going to be on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Saturday morning at I'm going to say 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be reviewing Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. I'm really excited to go ahead and get into that show. That's one of the big shows from this upcoming weekend. Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, I will be reviewing The Beekeeper and Monkey Man. I'm excited to review both of those. And then on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, I will be reviewing WrestleMania 40 in full. I'm going to be watching both nights over the weekend, but I'm excited to bring all of that to y'all. I don't know what the rest of next week's schedule will look like, but I will keep y'all updated on that Monday. Monday, I'll have more of a clear understanding. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. I know I didn't review AEW Dynamite proper, but actually, I don't even know how to raid yet, so I'm gonna have to. I'm still figuring out streaming. I'm still figuring it out, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. But I really appreciate all your support and for sticking around with me. AT, I will definitely, I'll hit you guys up soon. I'm sure I'll be on the stream before I know it. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Give yourself some grace this weekend. I know that life feels heavy. I know it's been a lot for a lot of us. But please stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Give yourself some grace. Do something nice for yourself. Give someone a hug. We all could use more hugs. But again, thank you so much for watching, y'all. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Talk to y'all soon.